संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वं सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयं यत्स्वप्नजागरसुषुप्तमवेति नित्यं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः। We continue with verse number 49.
जीवन्मुक्तस्तु तद्विद्वान् पूर्वोपाधिगुणांस्त्यजेत् सच्चिदानन्दरूपत्वात् भवेद् भ्रमरकीटवत्। जीवन्मुक्तस्तु तद्विद्वान् पूर्वोपाधिगुणांस्त्यजेत् सच्चिदानन्दरूपत्वात् भवेद् भ्रमरकीटवत्।
The liberated soul, endowed with self-knowledge, drops his traits of the previous equipments to become self, with nature of existence, knowledge, bliss, just as worm becomes vast. The liberated soul, endowed with self-knowledge, drops his traits of the previous equipments to become self, with nature of existence, knowledge, bliss, just as worm becomes vast. Jivan Muktaha. A very beautiful word he is introducing. Jivan Muktaha Tadvidwan. The enlightened one who has become a Jivan Muktaha, drops his traits of the previous equipments. First is Mukti, liberation. Second is Jivan Mukti, liberation now. So he's talking about a person who is liberated now. A concept of Jivan Mukta. While all religions talks about liberation after death, Vedanta talks about liberation now. All religions talks about a liberation after death, meaning something will happen after you die. Now, Jivan Mukta says the self, the Brahman, the liberation can be realized while you are in a body. The Jiva means one who is in a body. As you are in a body, you will be able to realize the self. Jivan Muktaha. If this concept of Jivan Mukti, I'm using the word concept, actually it is not a concept. If the realized masters didn't come out and say, I am free now, I am liberated, now the entire concept of liberation would become a mere theory. People say Jivan Mukta is a theory. Vedanta comes and says Jivan Mukta is not a theory. It becomes the entire Vedantic knowledge becomes practical. It will have some meaning only then somebody can claim liberation and say, I am liberated. Now, when somebody can say, I am liberated now, knowledge becomes meaningful. If people say liberation can happen only after the body is lost, you can be a free person now, but total liberation happens only after the death. We say that is called Videha Mukti, and there is no difference between Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Both are one and the same. One set of people say, as long as you are having a Deha, Mukti is not possible. Now, all these different levels of Mukti is meaningful to a person who is interested in Mukti. Yeah. When a person is not interested in Mukti, what difference does it make whether it is Jivan Mukti or Videha Mukti? Mukti now or Mukti later, what difference does it make? அப்புறம் பார்க்கலாம் சார். We will see that later. We will see that Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti and all later. How to handle the problems today, அதுக்கு ஒரு வழி சொல்லுங்க இல்லையா? Tell us how to handle our problems today. Teach us that. Videha Mukti, Jivan Mukti, hair splitting distinctions about Mukti and all we will see later. Vedanta says you have to start with the clarity that what are you, the goal has to be clear first. What is the goal? Jivan Mukti is the goal. The goal may be far-fetched. The goal may look very distant. The goal may look very difficult to aspire, achieve, but the goal doesn't change. What is the goal? Jivan Mukti is the goal. Another school says, no, even body itself is a trap. You can call it as prarabdha vasana and all that, but still you are in bondage only. And the complete liberation happens only when you get rid of the body. It is called Videha Mukti. When you are free from the body completely. Now, we understand there is no difference between Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. It means one and one, it means the same. What does it mean? A master declares that I am liberated. All Vedantic knowledge comes from the masters who have had the intimate subjective experience of the truth, and then they are saying, I am liberated. We may not have the goal. We may not be inspired by the goal. We may not be impressed by the goal. But that doesn't change the fact. What? Jivan Mukti. And wherever there is a possibility, Shankaracharya keeps using this word, Jivan Mukti. Even in Bhagavad Gita, you find Krishna talking about Jivan Mukti a lot. Across very many places, he talks about Jivan Mukti a lot, meaning liberation now. When they say liberation now, means a person who has followed the proper path, the person who has followed the path sequentially as told, you will be able to experience realization, Mukti. Now, as you are in your embodiment itself, you will be able to experience the Jivan Mukti. Now, all that we have seen till now is what? Verse number 44, he spoke about Ajnana Nivritti, ignorance goes. Verse number 45, that Jiva Bhava goes. 46, 47, Ahankara, Mamakara goes. 48, you get the right vision. Now 49, Jivan Mukti. The sequence is clearly established. Again, I repeat the sequence. Ide Atmabodhaliye, we studied verse number 44. We studied a verse called 44. Yeah. De Atmabodha adu kuda, we studied that verse 44. In that 44, he spoke about Ajnana Nivritti. Removal of ignorance he spoke about. 45, he spoke about that Jivatvam, the sense of individuality, Nivritti. 46, 47, Ahankara, Mamakara, Nivritti. Verse number 48, the right vision. Having gone through all this, what will be the logical conclusion in verse number 49? Jivan Mukti. A Jivan Mukti. Free while living. The Vidwan. The Vidwan means one who has gone through this. One who has gone through this process. What does he understand? He understands that previous upadhis, association with the previous equipments. Carefully follow. He's saying he drops the traits of the previous equipments. Jivan Mukti is what? The traits of the previous equipments is lost. It means, what are the traits of the equipments? Okay, what are the equipments? The three bodies, the gross, the subtle, the causal bodies. The gross and subtle and causal bodies are the three equipments, and these equipments has its own gunan, traits. It has its own properties. It has its own gunas. What is the guna of the gross body? The guna of the gross body is the perceiver and the actor. The guna of the gross body is the perceiver and the actor. Step number 2, the guna of the gross body is not the perceiver and the actor. The guna of the gross body is to perceive and act. Again, I repeat. At one level, it looks like perceiver and actor. It's not perceiver and actor. The guna of the gross body is to perceive and act. The gross body perceives and acts. I am the perceiver and actor is dropped. The perceptions and actions continue. I am the perceiver and actor is dropped. That's why the words you have to, some of the verses you have to break it up into individual words and understand it properly. Now, what I am doing in these classes is, one way is to give a general interpretation. Another way is to break it up and go into deeper understanding. Now, what I am doing is, I break it up into words. Since I am breaking it up into words and analyzing, konja time aarudhu mudikiradhukku. Clear? Before coming, I was talking to some of my colleagues. They asked me, Ippo, what text are you doing? I said, Atmabodha. So long you are doing Atmabodha only? What is there to do so much in Atmabodha? I said, wow. How are you stretching it so much? I said, I am not stretching it so much. It is there. No, what do I? It is there. No, what do I do? Purva upadi gunam tyajet. Tyajet means disconnected, renounced. Purva means before. Upadi means instruments. Gunas. Now, what are the previous gunas that he is disconnected from? From the level of the gross body, he doesn't say, I am the perceiver and the actor. He says, perceptions and actions. Perceptions and actions happen. What are the gunas of the subtle body? Gunams tyajet. What is the guna of the subtle body? Yeah. Onnathila hint kuduthuta it becomes easy to know the other. Yeah. What is the guna of the subtle body? Feeler and thinker. The feeler and thinker is the guna of the subtle body, the mind and the intellect. He says, mind is that which the upadis feel, the mind which is the upadi that feels, intellect, the upadi, thinks. Jivan Mukta says, I have nothing to do with that. What is the gunams tyajet of the causal body? The gunams tyajet of the causal body is this. What is the causal body? Ignorance. The causal body is ignorance. Purva upadi of the causal body is ignorance. And he says, I am knowledgeable. I have nothing to do with the ignorance of the, I don't have anything to do with the Purva upadi of the causal body, Purva upadi of the subtle body, and Purva upadi of the gross body. I have nothing to do with that. For tyajet, I have renounced that. Dukkeshu anudvignamanaha, sukeshu vigataspruhaha, Vitaraga Bayakrodaha Stitadir Muniruchyate. Verse number 56, chapter 2, Stita Prajna Lakshana. Vitaraga Bayakrodaha Dukkeshu Anudvignamanaha Sukeshu Vigataspruhaha Vitaraga Bayakrodaha Stitadir Muniruchyate. That is disconnecting from the subtle body upadi, whose mind is not shaken up by adversity and who is not disturbed by prosperity, who is free from attached fear and anger. Now these are all the gunas of the subtle body, the mind. He says, I am free from, Jivan Mukta says, I am free from Purva upadi gunan tyajet. Nasti buddhira yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana achabhavayata shantihi ashantasya kutasukam. Again he says, verse number 66, chapter 2 again. See, why I am giving all this is because there in chapter 2 Bhagavad Gita, when he describes the Stita Prajna, he is talking about the Jivan Mukta. Why that reference is given is because in chapter 2 Stita Prajna portion is nothing but a discussion about a a Sthita Prajna, and the Sthita Prajna is a Jivan Mukta. Who's a Sthita Prajna? A Sthita Prajna is a Jivan Mukta. Supposing if you say liberation will come after death only, then all these verses has no meaning, no? Dukveshana Vignamanaha has no meaning. Then whatever the Sthita Prajna Lakshana verses has no meaning if you take moksha means after death. Therefore, who is a Jivan Mukta? A Jivan Mukta is one who is a Sthita Prajna. In the Bhagavad Gita context, you understand him as a Sthita Prajna. You can understand Krishna as a Jivan Mukta. Any liberated person is a Jivan Mukta. It's not that Krishna got liberated after he died, no. Rama got liberated after he died. Ramana Maharshi got liberated after he died. Then who is to say whether Ramana got liberated or not? For after dying, Ramana is not going to come back. For resurrection and all is not. See, once you leave the body, you can't get back into that body. Resurrection and all is not possible. Yeah, you die after 3 days, come back into the body. That is called ghost. That's why it's called Holy Ghost. It is not called Holy Christ. Even Christianity, they say Holy Ghost. Why? Because it is not. Once you leave, you cannot come back. So after leaving, you attain moksha is not that which is inspiring. So you see a person who is free. Now, so you find Sthita Prajna portion talking about Jivan Mukta, the Krishna, the Krishna, Lord Rama, Ramana Maharshi, or Shankaracharya, assuming that they are all realized. And why I am saying assuming that they are realized is because we still have a doubt about. Adanalada I am saying assuming. There is no assumption at all. They are muktas. They are mukta purushas. But since we still have a doubt, what is our doubt? Mukta Purusha, it's okay. Even when I go to a Mukta Purusha, what do I go for? Even when I go to a Mukta Purusha, an ignorant person, this is the Purva Upadhi of causal body. Yeah? Carefully follow. Even when we go to a Mukta Purusha, when we go to a liberated person, what do we go for? Like Ramana Maharshi says, you will come to an enlightened man and you will not know what to ask, he said. You will come to a wise person and you will not know what to ask. You will come and ask him. World unreal, I have understood. World is temporary, I have understood. All this is understood. All this I have understood already, sir. The career la dhaan enakku or problem. Still I am having a doubt about how to. Yeah. But moksha, liberation, and the world is temporary and all is understood. It means what? Yeah, we go and we do not know what to ask. In the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that, see, Krishna directly says, I am. The 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he says, directly he says, when he says, I am the Mukta Purusha, what Arjuna should have done immediately? What Arjuna should have done immediately? First, or Sashtang Namaskar he should have done. Yeah. How are you saying you are liberated, Krishna? Isn't it? First thing you should have done is Sashtang Namaskar. Second thing, what you should have done? What Arjuna should have done? Teach me the way for liberation. Instead, Arjuna is asking what? How not to feel guilty and enjoy the kingdom, Krishna. Otherwise, you will ask an enlightened person. What is Arjuna asking Krishna? I want the kingdom. And the way to get the kingdom is by killing these people. And by killing these people, I will feel I'll feel guilty. So use your Jivan Mukta status and tell me what Jivan Muktala you keep to yourself. I am not interested in that. What am I asking you? What is it that I want? Use your wisdom and tell me how to indulge in the world and not feel guilty. Use your wisdom and tell me how to get involved in the world and I'll be free from the consequences of the involvement. இதுதான் கேள்வி. இதுதான் பூர்வ உபாதி of causal body. Gunams Tyajet of causal body is what? How to get involved in the world, how to be part of the world, how to be in the world and still be free of the consequences. Drop your desires. Adu vanda. I will not drop the desires alone. Tell me the method to fulfill the desire and freedom from consequences of the fulfillment of the desire. Is there a method like that? And if somebody gives that method, how wonderful is that method, no? Desires can be fulfilled, but you will be free from the consequences of the fulfillment of the desire. In the Purva Upadida, causal body is ignorance. This is ignorance. And we keep going to the enlightened master again and again and again. Janma after Janma after Janma. We keep going and asking the same question and they give the same answer. What is the answer they give? They say it is not. They say it is not possible. And when they say it is not possible, what do we do? When they say it is not possible, what do we do? Leave that person and try and find another person who can maybe இவருக்கு தெரியாம இருக்கலாம், அது பாவம் இவருக்கு தெரியல. Find another person who can Mohan, correct. Change the master nu போட்டாரு அவர். Correct. Change the guru. ஏன்னா அவருக்கு தெரியல. Guru does change the master. Beautiful is this word. What is the word that he uses? Purva Upadi Gunana Tyachet. It means I need to know what is the gunas of the upadis. What are the gunas of the upadis that he has? What are the gunas of the upadis that he has? Freedom from. Are you able to follow? First I elaborated Tadvidwan Jivan Muktaha Bhavati. First we explained that. Tadvidwan Jivan Muktaha. That person has become a Jivan Mukta. First we elaborated that. And now we are elaborating Purva Upadi Gunam Tyajet. This knowledge is freedom. This knowledge is what gives you. This knowledge is what that gives you freedom. But sir, we have this knowledge so much, and then why are we not free? We have only memorized the knowledge. We have only memorized. There is a difference between memory and understanding. See, sometimes, we do some ritual in the house and the priest comes. It is so foolish to go and ask that person for the meaning. For what is his training? What is his training? His training is to memorize and repeat. That's all his training is. You go and ask him for the meaning, he will not know the. His training is only to. In what he's trained in, we don't know. And then we go and ask him, and that fellow will not know how to answer. We come back and say, this fellow himself doesn't know, then why should I do? You are asking the wrong person. Because his training is only to memorize. In this classroom, we can also be so well trained to memorize this knowledge. That's what I am doing. I have memorized it so well. The way that I'm talking, the persons who, the people who are coming for the classes newly will think that he is realized already. Yeah. Person who has been listening to me for 30, 40 years will say, maybe konja grow aayirukkaru, sir, konja grow aayirukkaru. It is just, what is the difference between memory and knowledge? Freedom. Memory, memorizing the information will not give you freedom. Knowledge gives you freedom. Memorizing is not freedom. And all these people there are the vast majority of people who have memorized, and those who have memorized, you misunderstand them to be knowledgeable. You know, you can be a Pandit in any language, no? Pandit na only Sanskrit dan theriyunungra avasiyam illa. You can be a Pandit even in English language. There. எப்படி இதை தெரிய வைக்க முடியும் அப்படின்னா, SRL Shankara பேச விட்டு கேளுங்க. Ask SRL Shankar to speak. Shailesh, have you ever heard him speak? No? Okay, one day I will make him speak. Huh? In 10th minute, you will think, oh my God, he is enlightened. What is the difference, Shankar? What is the difference? It's just memory. Memorizing it is not going to give you freedom. We all have memorized it. And this memory is not going to give us freedom. Then what will give freedom? Manana and Nididhyasana is what will give freedom. Manana and Nididhyasana is what will give freedom, not just memorizing. இப்போ memorizing கூட தேவையில்லை, ஏன்னா எல்லாத்துக்கும் ரெஃபரன்ஸ் வச்சுக்கலாம் இல்லையா? The machine that I keep in front have all the knowledge in this that I can quickly keep referring. At least 50 years back, 100 years back, you have to have it in memory. Now you don't even have to have it in memory, because the entire complete works book that I am keeping in front can be in one small instrument, you know. You don't need to. Nowadays, the laziness has become so much that even memorizing is not required. And yet we say knowledge is freedom. And what is freedom? What is knowledge? Freedom means disconnected from the Purva Upadhis and the traits of the Upadhis. When you are able to disconnect from the gunas of the instruments, it is not freedom from the instruments. Are you able to see the difference? Freedom from the instrument is Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti means what? What is the difference between Videha Mukti and Jivan Mukti? In Videha Mukti, the instrument itself is not there. In Jivan Mukti, the instruments are there. But what are you free from? Dikvesh anudvigna manaha, sukeshu vigata spruhaha, vitaraga bayakrodaha, sitadir nurityade. Like all the entire description of a Sthita Prajna. The entire description of the Sthita Prajna means from verses 55 to 58, the 4 verses, where he talks about the Jivan Mukta. Where in chapter 4 he says, I am that. Kshetragyam chapimam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Chapter 13, he says, know me as the Kshetragya amongst all Kshetras. In chapter 10, he says, Ahamatma Gudakesha. Know me as the self in all beings. A person who has realized this is a Jivan Mukta. So, what does Jivan Mukta means? Instruments are there, but the gunas of the instruments he is free from the gunas of the upadhis, he is tyajet. He is free from. Are you able to follow? Then the third, Satchidananda Rupatvat. After the liberated soul, endowed with self-knowledge, drop the traits of the previous equipments. It is not dropping the equipments, it is dropping the traits of the previous equipments. From sadhana point of view, what is more applicable to us? That's why I'm spending a little bit more time on that. From sadhana point of view, what is applicable to us? What are the traits of the upadhis and how do we free ourselves from that? And then he says, to become the self, look at the beauty of the verse. Upadhis or gunas is said. What are the gunas of the upadhis? That is said. Now the guna of the self, as it were. What is the guna of the self? Sat Chit Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda. What is Sat Chit Ananda means? Existence, knowledge, bliss. And what does existence, knowledge, bliss means? A existence that is not an existence that has no cause or creation. Anything that comes into existence presupposes a karana for it, a cause for it. For something to exist, there has to be a cause. That is why we keep asking, what is the purpose of life, sir? We ask this question, no? What is the purpose of life? What does this purpose of life question means? Life is existing and there has to be a meaning for its existence. There has to be a meaning for existence. Brahman exists, the reality exists without meaningless existence. That is the reality. The upadhi which has the mind which seeks, the mind which has a utilitarian attitude asks, what is the purpose? The utilitarian mind asks this question, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of God? We know that something is existing, and for something to exist, there has to be a purpose. You can call it as a purpose, you can call it as a meaning, you can call it as anything. But what it means is what? What it means is existence. What is the cause for its existence? What is the reason for its existence? தைரியமா சொல்லுங்க, no reason. There is no reason. There is no consciousness enlivening something for what? There is no reason for consciousness to enliven anything. Why? Because it has no. That is the very nature of consciousness. So existence. And when we say existence, Sat means it looks like, okay, abdina, a piece of rock is existing, a piece of wood is existing, a piece of metal is existing. No, no, no. It is not that kind of an existence. Existence having chit, a conscious existence. But abdina, we all belong to the chit and sat, no, because we are also conscious existence. The third factor, ananda, blissful conscious existence. Blissful conscious existence is Satchitananda, and that is the swabhava of, just as instrument has its own gunas, Brahman has its own trait. What is it? Blissful conscious existence. Our existence is sometimes conscious, sometimes unconscious, deeply. Ippo conscious, assuming that we are conscious now. Illa sir, inga da enak nalla thookame varuduna, then it is a different. So we are conscious that sometimes we are not conscious at sometimes. We are blissful at times, we are not blissful at times. We are existing at time, we are not existing at another period of time. Brahman doesn't have this, for it is Sat Chit Ananda. That's why Brahman is always indicated as Satchitananda, Satchitananda, Satchitananda. And then he brings about, he's talking about Jivan Mukta, the quality of Brahman as Satchitananda. And when he gives an example, the example he gives is of a sadhana. Beautiful example he gives. What is the example here? Just as worm becomes the vase. The vase builds a nest, places the worm and guards it. From the standpoint of the worm, what does it see? What does the worm see? The worm sees only the, what does the worm see? The worm doesn't see anything else except the vase. By continuously looking at it, it becomes the vase. Now don't bring in biology into this, sir. It's an example. Don't bring biology into this. Srikanth. Now our biologist yeah. Don't bring biology, sir. Shankaracharya may be biology theory. It's an example. What is the example? The life of the worm is restricted, constricted, restricted to the dark nest. And only one thing that it sees is the vase. by constantly, continuously looking at it, it wants to become that. As you think, so you become. It's a sadhana. The worm sees its restrictions and constrictions, but it sees the wasp liberated, flying away. It can fly away. Are you able to see the comparison? Are you able to see the comparison? The worm maintains only the thought of the wasp until it metamorphoses into a wasp. இதுதான் ananya chinta. This is called ananya chinta. By just as the worm, by maintaining ananya chinta, turned metamorphosed and turned into the wasp, the jiva, by maintaining ananya chinta on Brahman, becomes a jivan muktaha. Beautiful is that metaphor. Beautiful is that metaphor. Ananya chinta. And what is the difference? The life of the worm is constricted, restricted. Similarly, the life of the jiva is constricted and restricted. Whereas the wasp also seems to be in the nest, the worm also is in the nest. ரெண்டு பேரும் நெஸ்ட்ல தான் இருக்கிறாங்க. Are you able to understand now? The worm is also in the nest, the wasp is also in the nest. But what is the difference between the two? Vasuparna Sayuja Sakaya, Mundaka Upanishad, beautiful mantra. Two birds. Vasuparna Sayuja Sakaya, Samanam Vriksham Parishasvajate, Tayorna Pippalam Swaswati, Anashnananyo Abhichakashiti. Both are birds. Both are birds. Vasuparna, two birds. One bird is singing and whistling and dancing. Another bird is sitting in misery and worry. But both are birds. Yeah. One bird knows it has the wing, another bird forgotten that it has the wings. Knowledge comes and tells you, you also have the wing. You also have the wing, for you are the same bird as the other bird. Vasuparna. Sayuja Shaka. Beautiful. Why I am giving all these references is, this is the idea that is, it's the same idea that is spread all over Vedantic literature. Huh? And how can the bird forget that it has wings? That's Maya. See, if the bird wings are clipped, it is all right. Huh? Imagine if somebody comes and clips the wings. If somebody comes and plucks the wings away, it is understandable. The wings are there and the bird doesn't know that it has wings. This is called Maya. This is called Maya. I have given this example, no? Sorry, not that example. In the மாதிரி context வரும்போது, I show off what all I know also. There. How the parrot is caught. Huh? Remember how the parrot is caught? The parrot is the nest is not spread for the bird to caught. What they will do? A thin silky thread will be tied between two trees, and the bird will come and the parrot will come and sit on that. As soon as it sits on that, what happens? Because of its own weight, gravity, it just tumbles down. In that tumbling down in fear, what it does, it grips the string so hard that it will not let go of the string, and the hunter will come and hunter வந்து tea, samosa, vadayellam சாப்பிட்டுட்டு very relaxedly he will come. He will not be in a hurry to come because he knows the bird will not leave, for it is so paranoid, it is so scared, it is so afraid. How it will leave? ஏன்னா அதனுடைய whole life is dependent on that. Not realizing that, oh my God, it flew and sat on it. All that I need to do is what? Release it. The feathers that I have already will, the wings, not the feathers, the wings that I have already is there to save me. The wings I have already to save me. One bird knows it, another bird doesn't know it. But both the birds are sitting on the same branch. Here he is talking about the worm and the wasp in the same nest. The worm also in the same nest, the wasp also in the same nest. What is the difference between the worm and the wasp? The worm is caught up in that, bound by that, restricted by that. The wasp is free. And how the worm can turn into the wasp? Ananya Chinta. Ada sadhana. Ananya Chinta. But our Ananya Chinta is, our Ananya Chinta is about what is? Sir, what do you think about what Trump did day before yesterday is not right, no, sir? Our Ananya Chinta is about that only. Our Ananya Chinta is not clear. What is our Ananya Chinta? Yeah. Domestic news. Domestic news, na? Domestic gossip. Ella gossip da. Gossip news in a pair which it becomes right to sit and gossip. Huh? Gossip da adu. Now what difference does it make? Gossip da. But ade news nu solliyachana it becomes correct, no? Domestic gossiping is called domestic news. What did cousins do? What did the nephews do? What the mother-in-law does? What the father-in-law does? Idallam gossip. No, no, sir. These are not gossip. This is news, sir. So you have domestic news. You have local news. Local times. We have domestic times. We have local times. We have national times. We have international times. All times are nothing but another gossip. Our Ananya Chinta is about gossiping. And when you are tired of gossiping, Aditya channel. Shankar. Aditya channel, some channel. Yeah, some channel. I don't know. Maybe let people Aditya channel. Aditya channel. Old people will sit and watch Aditya channel. New gen. Yeah. Next gen, new gen will see. What will they see? Netflix. Yeah. Aditya only ade gossip, ade story, ade useless things. It doesn't really. But then our Ananya Chinta is towards this. How did the worm turned into the wasp? How the jiva turned into a Jivan Mukta? The jiva turned into a Jivan Mukta by Ananya Chinta. The example of the worm becoming the the vase. Are you able to follow? The example of the worm turning into vase is nothing but as you think, so you become. Constantly looking at the vase, thinking of the vase, it becomes the vase. As I said, I'm just repeating myself again. Don't get into the biology of it. We are not discussing the biology of it. He's using this example to convey both are in the same nest. One is free, another is bound, and that one which is bound, how can it become free? By as you think, so you become. As you think, so you become means Ananya Chinta. Jivan Muktastu Tadvidwan Purva Upadi Gunam Styajet Satchidananda Rupatva Bhaved Brahmara Kitavat. Bhaved Brahmara Kitavat. Brahmara Kitavat is like the worm turning into the vase. Verse number 49. We move on to verse number 50. Verse number 50.
Yeah. Tirtva moharnavam hatva ragadveshadirākshasan yogi shanti samayuktaha atma ramo virajate. Tirtva moharnavam hatva ragadveshadirākshasan yogi shanti samayuktaha atma ramo virajate.
Having crossed the ocean of delusion and killed the demons of likes and dislikes, etc., the sage united with peace revels and shines in Atman. Having crossed the ocean of delusion and killed the demons of likes and dislikes, etc., the sage united with peace revels and shines in Atman. Here the example is of Ramayana story. Previously has been in the worm and wasp and all that. Here the reference, the example that he is using in this verse is the Ramayana story. It doesn't say Ramayana. Crossed the ocean of delusion and killed the demons of likes and dislikes. And we should understand. What is the reference? Ramayana. So, now the example of Ramayana is being used here. What is it? The epic Ramayana describes the fall and rise. Describes the fall of the human being and the rise of a human being. Before we get into the Ramayana story, how do you infer that he's talking about Ramayana story? Arnavam, Rakshasas, Atma, Ramaha, all these are references to the Ramayana story. Based on this only we interpret that he's talking about Ramayana. It's a reference. Now, the ocean of delusion is avidya. The ocean of delusion is avidya, the ignorance. As long as avidya is there, you will be caught up in raga and dvesha. And this raga dvesha causes mental agitations, What is your true nature? Satchidananda is your true nature. Satchidananda is your true nature, and from you have moved away from the true nature of Satchidananda to one of Rakshasas, victim of Rakshasas, demons. When you are no longer affected by this, when you gain the knowledge, what happens? Atma Ramo Virajate. You get established. Atma Ramo Virajate. You get established. Okay. Now the Ramayana story, the comparison. Sita is the worm and Rama the wasp. Seriya? Comparison. Sita the worm and Rama the wasp. As long as Sita's attention was on Rama, whether it is palace or the forest, she was all right. Sita never had a painful day in the forest for the first 13 years. You know that, no? They were in the forest for 14 years. 13 years they stayed together. 10 months they are separated. Again they got united. As long as Sita was with Rama, there was no. Sita is the Jiva. Rama is the Brahman. As long as Sita lived happily with Rama, whether it is the luxury of the palace or the uncertainties of the jungle. Luxury of the palace is the good things of life. Uncertainties of the jungle is the bad things of life. Whether the good things of life she is facing or the bad things of life she is facing, she remained happy as long as her attention was on Rama. See, don't take it as male, female. It is not why, sir, why not Rama focus on Sita? If you can do it in the other way also, it doesn't make any difference. There's only two. It is not a politics of male, female. It's not that politics. The moment she saw the golden deer, what happens? The moment she saw the golden deer, she got carried away. And even when Rama told her that there is no such thing called golden deer, she said, no, 13 years I have lived with you in the forest. I am only asking you for one thing. Sir, I'm married and living with that man for Shailesh. How long you are married? And the Dharmapatni is also sitting next. Yeah. You are married, sir, in that long, 20 years. Oh, we both are colleagues then. Yeah, we both are colleagues then. Yeah, 20 years of marriage. In 20 years of marriage, what have I asked, sir? Nothing I have asked. Only one thing that I'm asking, what? Golden deer. Can't you even get that? Rama said, I will go, but Lakshmana will be here too. Yeah, Shastras will be here watching you. Yeah, somebody will be there watching you to protect you. And then we know the story, no? It was a Marisha, the Rakshasa, and when he was hit by Rama's arrow, mimicry he did. Yeah. What is the mimicry he did? He cried in the voice of Lord Rama and died. And Sita is getting worried. Go and save Rama. Find out what happened. Lakshmana telling Rama that nothing can happen to. Don't you know Rama? Don't you know that man? Do you think one ordinary Rakshasa, golden deer, can kill Rama? Sita said, no, go. And she chased Lakshmana away. Rakshasa is waiting. Yeah. Who's the Rakshasa that is waiting? The 10-headed monster is waiting. Yeah, Patutala Ravana, 10-headed monster, Ravana is waiting. Rama goes away, and the 10-headed monster knows what Sita would do. Yeah. That's why the 10-headed monster is more wiser than Sita, because he knew, waited, and Sita will chase Lakshmana away. And then Sita became so, she was exposed, she was vulnerable, she was easily carried away and kept captive in Lanka. Anga ponadhukku appuram she remembered all that and she started doing tapas and everything, waited for Rama to come and rescue, and Rama made all the effort to come and rescue Sita. This is Ramayana story. Yeah. Who is the 10-headed? What is the Rakshasa here? Sita was held captive in the garden called Ashokavanam. Shoka means no sorrow. Shoka means sorrow. Ashoka means no sorrow, no grief. So even though she was in Ravana's, even though she was held captive by Ravana, she is in the stage of no grief. Ravana could not tempt her. Ravana could not seduce her, tempt her. Why? That is Ashoka Vanam. She was longing to unite with Rama, Mumukshatva. Longing to unite with Rama, Mumukshatva. But in relation to the temptations of the Ravana's palace, she is Ashoka. And Rama killed Ravana and took Sita, and they got united again. In the drama, Vali comes. Yeah. What is Vali? Rama meets Vali when? When does Rama meet Vali? Rama meets Vali after Sita is taken away. So meeting Vali is indicating the preparatory practice. What is the preparatory practice? Brahmacharya. Don't encounter the senses directly. For the senses are powerful. See, how much ever we talk about the power of the senses, we don't understand that. We ridicule the senses. We say, sir, I need mind control, sir. I don't need sense control. I need. Nobody in this classroom, nobody anywhere in the world asks the technique for sense control. Everybody asks techniques for mind control. Before you aspire for mind control, you need sense control. And that sense control is Vali. Rama killing Vali is an indicative of the preparatory practice. How did he kill Vali? He hid behind the tree and shot Vali. Sugriva means well controlled. Sanjaya, Sugriva, all means the same. Sanjaya in the Bhagavad Gita, Sugriva in the Ramayana, all means the same. All that means is they are well controlled. And then there is a monkey which violated the quality of the monkey, Hanuman. Yeah, what is the nature of the monkey? Astira and Chanchala. The nature of the monkey. Astira and Chanchala. That Astira and Chanchala nature of the monkey is conquered, and Hanuman became that monkey. Yeah. That is why we don't. Sugriva is the monkey king, but we worship Hanuman. Yeah. And Hanuman is not the monkey king. Sugriva was the king. Vali was the king and then became Sugriva. But why do we worship Hanuman? Power. He will take care of all the problems. Hanuman Chalisa will sing. Why? Because he will come and even this sunny, even after this sunny thing, Hanuman only can. I really don't know whether Hanuman can come and save you. Don't think that. Oh, sir, Sunny, Hanuman. I'm not saying that. I really don't know. Why do we worship Hanuman? Chitta Ekagraha. Chitta Ekagraha means the mind that cannot be single-pointed. Hanuman became single-pointed. See, we are all not able to become single-pointed. How much ever we keep studying, hearing, we are not able to become single-pointed. He became single-pointed. And that's with the aid of the single-pointed mind, Vali got destroyed. And what is Vali? Vali had a unique boon. What is the unique boon of Vali? See, Vali by himself is a very powerful man. Vali by himself is a very powerful person. And he has a very unique boon. Whoever comes in front of him, their powers also goes to him. So Vali munnadi ponale, you will be defeated. Vali need not fight with you and all. You stand in front of Vali, you get defeated. Why? All your Viveka Shakti. You go and stand in front of sense objects, all your Viveka Shakti is taken away by the sense objects. Phone after phone they're releasing, you stand in front of it, you get carried away by it. Yeah. Just to stand in front of the sense object, you lose your Viveka Shakti is gone. Yeah. New model varumbodhu, you have to acquire that new. And 90% of it is not used by 90% of the people. 90% of what is in the phone is not used by 90% of the population, and yet they stand in queue to buy it. Why? That Viveka Shakti is gone. The presence of the sense object. The presence of the sense object is so powerful that you stand in front of it, you lose it. Advertisement is nothing but constant bombardment. Yeah. Brain bombard pannine irukum. And they have to tell you that if you don't have the latest model, you are backward. Yeah. They have to make you believe that if you don't have the latest model, you are backward. So if you have to be forward, you have to have the Viveka Shakti is lost. Therefore, what you have to do, you can't encounter the senses directly. You have to take protection, brahmacharya. All these from the Ramayana he takes. And then they cross the ocean, and then Rama kills Ravana, and then they come back, Rama Rajya. After that, Rama Rajya. Valmiki Ramayana stops with Rama Rajya. It doesn't continue into Lava Kushala. Adallam comes much, much later. So, as far as Ramana is concerned, both of them get united, happily united ever after. Yeah. Athoda Ramayana stops. But sir, they would have gotten married. What happens to their children? Adallam part 2, part 3, which is not in the original. It is not part of the original. Are you able to follow? Therefore, what is it that so what he does, he gives all this he gives the entire Ramayana story to explain what? The allegorical significance of Ramayana, the symbolic meaning of Ramayana is taken and explained. And one more thing with which I'll conclude the verse is sage united with peace revels and shines in Atman, meaning as long as the prarabdha vasana is there, he will continue to exist in the sharira as long as the prarabdha vasanas are there. We have to conclude you have to conclude in Jivan Mukta. On realization, your delusory ego no longer exists, but you continue to function in the world until the prarabdha also gets exhausted. So you gain Jivan Mukti, and then after the death of after you drop the body, moksha, you don't drop your mukti, liberation continues. This is verse number 50. Verse number 50 is a slightly longer, we took a slightly more story explanation. Not like the worm and the wasp and ask you things so you become, and the psychological technical explanation. Here the explanation is in the form of the Ramayana story. So verse number 50. Tirtva moharnavam hatva ragadveshadi rakshasan yogi shanti samayuktaha Atma Ramo Virajate. Atma Ramo Virajate. With this, we conclude. With this, we conclude verse number 50, and we continue with verse number 51 onwards in the next session. Prasad. Prasad, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Yes, yeah, yes.
The previous upadhi,
Yes.
when you say it's actually existing the equipment. So how do I
Yes.
understand any previous upadhi?
Yes. Verse number
39.
49. It is the traits of the previous equipments. Why he calls it as previous equipments is because my husband, after divorcing, Prasad, my husband, after divorcing, ex-husband, no? Previous husband. Like that it is. At one point of time, it was claimed as mine. Now the divorce has happened. Yeah. So self-realized person is a divorcee. Yeah? He's a divorcee. My instrument versus a previous. Are you able to see the difference now? Prasad. In that sense, previous.
Yes, that is a kind of a disclaimer.
Yes. At one point of time, it was claimed as mine. At another point of time, it is said as previous. Because he's talking from the standpoint of a Jivan Mukta, the equipments are still there. The equipments are still there. The person who claimed it as mine is also there, apparently. But what is his connection with those equipments?
There is no connection.
There is no connection. Previous.
Previous.
There is no connection is one way is to say no connection, another is to say previous connection. Like one way is to say my husband, another way is to say ex-husband. Like that. Is it okay, Prasad? Yeah. With this, we conclude for today and we continue with verse number 51 onwards in the next session.